It is the Riot Podcast. Hudson and Nikki.
Hello, everybody.
With you today on this wonderful Wednesday.
We'll give you guys a sneak peek, but we're thinking about, we'll do a lot of after shows and food fights and interviews and things, but maybe next week, the new Mario, golf is coming out.
Uh-huh.
Maybe next week we should do a game playthrough.
Yeah.
Where we try it for work.
Yeah.
Here for a show, for an after show. But if anybody is between that and the power washing simulator, everybody wants us to play that. But let us know if you think there's something you would get behind if we did an extra after show next week with some sort of game.
It's funny if you didn't hear that we were talking about gaming, and it was just we're thinking of either power washing or playing golf. Which one would you think we would be more interested?
Actually, that does seem like a weekend for some people.
Yeah, some people they would be thrilled. Yeah. I think Hank Hill would have a real good time.
We're not talking real life here. We're talking either Mario or we're talking power washing simulator, which is a game.
Yeah, so that's something that's potentially in the works. We'll see if that pans out.
Yeah, but feel free to text us if there's something else you think we should do, or if you're all for that, if you just text 877 to RadioU.
I'm all for anything that is a show where we aren't eating. That's not the only. We're known for more. We can be known for more than just eating.
We're more than just food fights. Yes. We promise.
So in the show today, we talk some baseball.
We do.
One of the rare times that we'll do that, I think, even as much as I like it. It's just not very interesting to talk about usually.
I actually think the sticky stuff is interesting to talk about because, I'm not a baseball fan, but everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
It feels like that's the new hotness to get on.
Yes, and
I wanted to know why.
And baseball players are undressing, and so it's a big situation going on.
That's right.
Let's see. We also talk about the new Transformers movie. We have the deception involved in an InNOut
the food
truck in Washington, D.C.
Please look at the picture of the food truck. Please just Google it and find it. It is so bad.
And then a couple more that we need to mention here is the Coors Light alcoholic seltzer ice cream.
The ice cream, yeah.
Yep. And then the record, it's right near the beginning of the podcast, the record for stacking M&Ms, you will not believe it.
Well, we're not saying that Coors played a part in both stories.
Maybe, yeah.
One guy was just really bored, and the other's a company that think you'll like that.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy it. So make sure you listen all the way.
Hopefully enjoying the podcast today, but thanks so much for listening.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
Bye.
If you've ever asked yourself, just how bad can it get? We've got your answer right here. Worst of the Riot, RadioU.
You think it's a good idea?
You ever go to Buffalo Wild Wings, you go to the bathroom, and they have all the TVs set up in there so that you don't have to miss a minute of the action or even a minute of the halftime show. You can see it all, and you're in the bathroom in Buffalo Wild Wings.
Might even be a better seat than inside the restaurant.
That's true. Nice and private and quiet in there, usually, not always. Why don't we have that here at Radio U?
We have.
Not so that we can watch RadioU TV or sports so that we can make sure we don't miss anything where we're supposed to talk.
We have countdown clocks and this and that and counts ups and all this stuff. So we have lots of screens that basically they just shove it all for us on different monitors, or we have one big TV that has it all on there.
Yep.
If we had that, maybe smaller ones in the bathroom, use the TV in the break room for the big one.
Yeah, of course.
I feel it'd actually be pretty helpful to see what all's going in here while we're in there. Of course, working still while in there.
Yeah, right.
Not hiding.
And perish the thought that we would have a moment to ourselves where we didn't have to worry about the countdown clocks.
I mean, sometimes you need a bathroom break or a food snack break, and then you have to keep it all and watch the time. So, Chris, I'm just saying, if you're listening, our engineer, that might be a good option.
Chris has never done on-air work, so these are the type of things that maybe
no one's told him.
That just wouldn't occur to him. But he's always very accommodating on finding things that can be helpful in that. Man, can you imagine how helpful that would be right above the urinal to just have a countdown clock?
Leave that to you guys for your bathroom side. But in the break room, we have audio so we can hear what's going on.
Yeah.
But sometimes with certain songs, you're like,
They have 4 different endings in your mind.
How much is left?
Or they just, if it's not turned up loud enough, it'll get real quiet and you'll think, oh no, did I leave something down? Actually, the song we just played, Remedy Drive, that song intro is so quiet. I have come sprinting out of the bathroom thinking that I left one of the things down on the board that would make so that like nothing would be playing.
These are practical things that might actually be a good addition to our break room and to the bathrooms here at RadioU.
And you know what? I'm totally understanding. All we need is the screen so that we can see, because if we could start controlling it from there, that's a slippery slope to just staying in the bathroom or the break room the whole time.
Well, that's a slippery slope. I'm just saying maybe in the past, there used to be sofas more sprinkled throughout the buildings. And then because of a few people, we lost the right to those. So sometimes whenever you get something that's helpful to some, others abuse.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see if it's possible. Chris, just a clock or a countdown or something in other parts of the building.
A screen share. I really think that this is a way to make us more productive and take our work more everywhere we go in the building.
And to get us where the snack cakes are.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Hudson and Nikki, the worst of the Riot podcast.
I'm going to share a new Guinness World Record with you, and this one, truly, you are not going to believe. And I mean that.
Impressive?
Yeah, it is stacking M&Ms. And if I were to just tell you, to guess how many M&Ms you thought would be stacked on top of each other for the Guinness World Record.
So going up.
Yep.
I don't know, 15?
15.
20 maybe?
You're way over.
Way over?
Yeah. It's 5.
5?
5 M&Ms stacked on top of each other.
That made a record?
Yeah.
I guess, is it harder than I think it is to stack M&Ms?
Well, they are round.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have a British man who just accomplished this feat a few days ago. And he was able to
I'm watching the video of it.
Yeah, his name is Will Cutbill. He's 23. He's from England. And we've got video right here of a lot of failed attempts. He's got 4 going. And that 5th one. Hey!
All the rest topple over.
And he's got almost all the different colors. That's not you. You still need the blue one on there. He's missing the blue one to complete the whole M&M rainbow.
Now that I see what he's doing, I see that 15 and 10 and stuff of thinking that that's how the number, that was being too generous.
Yep.
That's impossible.
It's harder than you think.
It
harder
is.
than you think. But then again, it doesn't seem as hard to get 5. So maybe somebody out there, the only thing separating you and a Guinness World Record is just a brown bag, a brown pouch that you may have floating around your house already.
He said it took him hours of attempts. So I feel like if you don't have a lot of time, we need to find another Guinness World Record for you.
Yeah, maybe you could do the speed version.
Yeah.
Because there's always, the speed running with games and stuff. There's always, you could stack 4 M&Ms, but you'll do it fast.
Well, why don't we just try how many M&Ms can you eat? Maybe that's better.
We'd be good at that.
I tell you, the COVID lockdown really brought an increase in people being bored enough at home. And suddenly he says he had a dream, a long dream.
Oh, wow.
Of getting his name into the Guinness Book of World Records. But it wasn't until COVID lockdown that he decided to make his dream a reality.
Wow.
And that's when he started stacking M&Ms.
Look at him manifesting destiny and just grabbing life by the horns.
And he even says it. He says, I was incredibly bored. And I decided to see how many M&Ms I could stack on top of each other.
You think you have the patience to do that?
If you don't have anything else going on, that was his exciting part of the day.
But for me...
Purpose.
Yeah, I know I get so frustrated, though, when I'm focusing on something, when I be trying to do this, and I can't do it. Like, I just keep failing over and over again, because then it gets harder for me to do it, because in my mind, I'm just freaking out.
You're frustrated.
So I would not be able to have the attention span and the right mindset, the peace of mind to be able to do this without throwing the M&Ms out the door.
Well, he had nothing else to do. So Will, 23 of England, stacked 5 M&Ms, and that got him a Guinness record. He said now that pubs are back open, but back then there wasn't much else to do. And he says he filmed his attempts for 2 to 3 hours before he finally got the 5 M&Ms to stack on each other.
Maybe there was some drinking involved leading him to get to the 5 M&Ms.
No,
maybe that's what it was that gave him the patience.
Yep. That'll do it, right?
That would be it.
That, and you get to snack on the rest of the M&Ms.
He was probably having some Guinness.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
New from Coors, the beer people, they have a new Coors Seltzer Orange Cream Pop alcoholic ice cream.
Oh, no.
It's nice that they put the disease that you would have to be diagnosed with if you had this in the title, the alcoholic ice cream.
Well, they want to make sure that people, I guess with certain things, they have to be overly cleared so that someone doesn't go like, I didn't know.
Right.
I had no idea it had alcohol in it.
I'm under 21 and I just thought this was a nice little pint. Yeah.
Or if someone doesn't want to drink and just gets confused, because sometimes we get so excited with ice cream that you're not really looking at everything.
Oh no, why is Aunt Deb going crazy?
She's down, guys.
She got into the wrong pint of ice cream. That wasn't for you.
She just had ice cream, guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how there's doggy ice cream, but if you don't really look at it, that pint looks just like normal people ice cream.
It looks good.
And I'm not saying I ever ate any, but I almost bought the ice cream sandwiches for dogs because I just didn't catch on. Like, that's not just like the mascot of the puppy on it.
How bad could those be? I bet you the doggy ice cream is better than alcoholic ice cream.
Yeah, probably so.
I have a feeling that this does not taste good.
You don't think so?
I don't think it would. I mean, it's very low. It's only 5% alcohol. It's not like unless you're eating a lot, which I don't know, with ice cream, all of a sudden, a couple scoops in.
I think they expect you to already have enough in you.
Yeah, right.
That
you're pairing this with another drink.
You don't actually taste what you're doing. I think that's the problem. They really think you're indulging more.
Yeah. I like the idea that you get pulled over by the police, or maybe we're watching
what you like, Hudson?
our body cam footage, and the officer's like, how many drinks have you had? And the guy's like, none. And he's telling the truth, but he had a bunch of scoops of ice cream, and that's why he's swerving everywhere.
He's like, I had 10 pints of it, but I don't know what's wrong.
Now the police are just going to have to start asking. It's going to have to be a routine thing. Well, how many scoops of ice cream did you have before you got on the road tonight?
This feels really alcohol-y, too, because they're like, you can pick up a 12-pack.
A 12-pack of ice?
No, it's actually just the orange cream flavor.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But still, you have to just be aware. Make sure you know what ice cream. And I think Coors has to realize, like, no offense, because that's just not in my world here. But I don't we don't spend the money on, like, the premium ice creams.
Right.
So they're like, the price that they put on this stuff, I'd rather have the non-alcoholic store brand. Where you get like the giant tub of it. Yeah. You're like, I'll just have that.
Just the big cardboard box of ice cream.
Yes. And that will get you through the summer.
You'll take that.
And if you get pulled over, they'll just ask for some, but they're not going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, you can have all that you want. It'll have other effects, but not
Well, we're not
driving.
Worrying about that one.
Right. Nope, you're good.
We've got an archive of everything stupid the Riot has ever said at your fingertips. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nature. That's why I come up here. It is.
Is it? We're not in nature.
No, it's not. That is an old Will Ferrell Saturday Night Live. I think he's being Robert Goulet.
Oh, it's an old thing.
But nature is what brings us here today to talk about the conservation of Tasmanian devils. You may not know this, Nikki, but the Tasmanian devils are the largest remaining carnivorous marsupial.
I think growing up, that was when I was like, no, there's not. There's not really a Tasmanian devil. And when you look at it, it's not what
It's not like the cartoon.
Exactly. It's not what I actually imagined it would be.
It's not literally a spinning tornado of destruction.
Nope.
But in some ways, it is. Now, the Tasmanian devil... recently as 1996, 90% of the species was getting wiped out, and that is because of the devil facial tumor disease.
Aw.
Yeah, doesn't that sound horrible?
Okay, so it wasn't like someone else doing it? It was something else they had?
Yeah, it was a disease that was spreading through the Tasmanian devil population.
Oh, it was a facial cancer.
Yeah, very sad. So a conservation project had been started to help them out, where the healthy ones had been relocated from Tasmania to an island called Maria Island, just a few miles off the coast. That was in 2012.
So they wanted to separate them to hopefully stop the spread of that.
Yes. And what happened was the Tasmanian Devils are doing better, but the penguins and the petrels on the island are doing worse.
Oh, no.
The Tasmanian Devils are terrorizing the penguins.
I mean, I guess that's what they're supposed to do. You shouldn't be too shocked.
They're carnivorous.
Yeah. And, they're eating the penguins?
Yeah, eating the penguins.
They say that the Devils has had a catastrophic ecological impact on the birds of Maria Island.
Yeah. This is what happens when we get involved in nature.
You
try to solve one problem and you create another for those little penguins.
Yeah, but you don't want the Tasmanian Devils to just be completely wiped out, but maybe they did not take care of that enough.
I mean, they got to eat something, right?
They do, but if it just takes over.
Yeah.
Like they just take over it, which is why, like when you're traveling, they're like, you're not supposed to bring anything into the country.
Yep. There's a whole Simpsons episode about that where Bart brings the frog, right?
Not allowed to. It'll take over.
That.
You look at our Everglades and the big snakes and the pythons and stuff, and they're not supposed to be there.
Yep.
They'll thrive there, but they're not supposed to.
That's why we've got stink bugs. They were sneaking over, coming where they don't belong, and now they're everywhere, and you can't get rid of them.
It's terrible, too, because they say with the penguin colony, you know how penguins like love each other, like they just have a little partner and that's it.
Yeah.
They had 3,000 breeding pairs there, and they say all the penguins are gone.
Oh, what a horrible story! But the Tasmanian Devils are doing good. Let's look on the bright side.
And
they've eradicated the devil facial tumor disease.
They say the geese on the island have to nest in trees now because they can't be on the floor because of the devils eating them.
So we're going to have to relocate the penguins now to accommodate the devils. And I'm sure relocating the penguins will cause other issues. So something else will have to be relocated in the nature, baby.
I think they need to, since the Tasmanian Devils are doing better, they need to bring them back to where they were.
Tasmania.
And take them off the island and try to rebuild what they destroyed.
And then they can terrorize the people of Tasmania instead.
I just think it'd be great to be one of the scientists and go back on the island and be like, hey, where's the penguins at, guys? Why are the geese in the trees? Like, what's wrong?
The Riot. Just because it's bad doesn't mean it's not good. Wait, isn't that exactly what it means? It's The Riot on RadioU.
InNOut, the burger place. It is known for being on the West Coast only. And
do you know why that is?
Because it's on the West Coast only.
No, what happens is they're very famous for they have to be close enough to their beef distribution centers.
Oh.
And the distribution centers only go so far in because they're like in Nevada and they're also in Arizona and stuff. And maybe Colorado, maybe not, but it has to be within a certain amount because they don't ever freeze them, if I remember.
Yeah.
So they have to be drivable.
Oh, so the East Coast beef isn't good enough? Is that what they're saying?
They just haven't set up a beef unloading area that would be close enough to then expand to different parts of the country on the East Coast, which is why they have to be close enough to where it comes from.
I feel like I'm starting to have an oppositional defiance issue with
you've never had
InNOut. It's been long enough that I haven't had it, and I've heard all these things about how good it is, and I just feel like it can't be worth it. And so I'm starting to let it seep into my mind that maybe I don't even want it because there's no way it could be as good as everybody says.
It's not like the best in the world, but it's just really, really good.
That's not what I hear, though.
And it's consistently good. And it's like when you go to Chick-fil-A. Like, they're just so nice.
Yep.
And sometimes you want to go to a fast food place where they're nice to you.
Yep.
They make the fries right then and there.
It's
not your fault.
Yes, exactly.
And I feel like I might be looking at you, McDonald's and Wendy's. That lately, it's always our fault.
Yeah. Or there's a place we have here called Steak Escape. And it's always our fault at Steak Escape.
Fault. They're like, well, why did you come and order? I'm really sorry. When I went to McDonald's last, they missed and forgot like 2 items. And I didn't even want to go back.
I know.
I know, like, it's my fault, I guess.
Yeah. You try to be a little understanding because they're understaffed, but then the way they talk to you sometimes where it's like,
bad.
well, why did you order this?
Yeah. Well, Phil, he's in Houston. He says it's not as good as people say. Yes, but it's just it's good and it's nice at the same time.
It's like Paddington Bear 2. It has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Nobody hates it. That's what InNOut is, right? Is that what I'm getting?
Pretty much.
Nobody hates InNOut. And so you're going to go. It might not be a 10 out of 10, but it's always going to be at least a 7 out of 10.
Now, InNOut does catering. They do food truck stuff.
Yep.
But it's their food trucks. And it has a very obvious InNOut look. It's very nice setup. They do like weddings and parties and stuff. But InNOut is not something where they don't go to the East Coast.
Yep.
They don't go to certain areas, and they go where they go, and that's it. Washington, D.C., though, had a couple of spottings of an InNOut food truck, and people were wondering, like, oh, are they trying it out? Are they looking at D.C.? Like, what are they doing?
Yep.
But when you look at the pictures posted on Reddit of the InNOut truck, dude, it is bad.
Somebody literally
print it out.
They got the InNOut logo, like they saved it onto their desktop or something.
Blurry.
Yeah. And they took it to Staples or something and got them to blow it up into a big enough magnet to fit that it could be seen on their food truck. And it doesn't match the color of the food truck or anything. The
food truck's just a very rusted, like very worn down, typical style.
Yep.
And then they just slap that on the side, and you look at it, you're like, that is not InNOut.
Well, sometimes the food trucks, by sometimes, I mean every of the time, it is just the Wild West with it. Where they feel like if you have a food truck, you will just do anything and you'll get away with anything. And if you ever get caught, who even knows? You just start up another food truck and go again. Yeah.
For this, though, you wonder, like, whoa, at first you're like, is it a mystery one and they're purposely doing it this way? But it wasn't. And then InNOut now knows that there's some rogue InNOut food truck in D.C. So if you see one and it's not their official version, someone is lying.
You get over there and you tell them to cease and desist. But on behalf of true InNOut, I say you must cease.
Wait, can you do a citizen's arrest and take him out? Be like, you don't mess around with this company.
No, definitely not.
There are some people that shouldn't have their own podcast. And by some people, we mean these people. RadioU's Worst of the Riot podcast.
There is a Japanese airline that is celebrating Pokemon. They've come up with a collaboration. The airline is called Skymark.
Yeah.
And they are celebrating Pokemon by actually putting together, they've got a plane that you can actually fly in that will go from, it looks like Tokyo to Okinawa. Mm-hmm. And it is all decorated in Pokemon.
And it's Pikachu?
It's all, it's your favorite Pokemon, from Pikachu to Pikachu and even Pikachu.
If you're familiar with Pikachu, you know, like a chubbier, sort of cute, cuddly sort of character.
Big and yellow and
I feel like
jovial.
It's what you feel like when you're trying to fly in a plane anyways. You feel like that's your body shape as it is.
And if you get mad, you'll start causing
havoc.
Just big issues there. Well,
now, I've seen the Hello Kitty planes in Japan a bunch, and I know sometimes our airlines here will like skin the back of like the tail part
they'll
of a
put
plane.
one little section of it will be decorated.
But I don't feel like our airlines ever do anything fun anymore.
No. Well, you know what, if they did try to decorate one of their planes, we'd all be like, oh yeah, decorate the plane to make flying fun, but why don't you try doing something that actually helps us
inside the plane?
Yeah, right. Why don't you give us something that's not just pretzels? How about that? How about you give us some leg room?
They say the first flight of this Boeing 737 is scheduled and will, like you said, fly out of Tokyo, and the Pikachu-themed airplane had a bunch of Pikachus there for its opening.
It is. If you're picturing this in your head and you're thinking how many Pikachus are on it, you're wrong. There is more Pikachus, especially once you go inside the plane and you see that every chair has like a little placemat over the back of it that also has Pikachu on it. It is just so much.
I bet you that goes away after the first flight, but on the outside, it's the whole plane. Again, here they don't bother doing that.
No, this is too fun for us.
Unless if you've ever seen like a sports team with their planes,
right?
They'll skin the whole thing. It'll be all decked out.
In the U.S., they would only do this if Pikachu himself was actually going to fly in the plane.
That's the only reason.
And even then, they probably wouldn't.
Well, it's cute, I guess. I mean, whatever makes flying more interesting.
Yeah, but again, if it would be nice to have some more tangible things that would help the flying experience, except for just this.
For here?
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. We would like to. There's a lot of things we can improve. We have a list, and we will share it with any airlines that would like to inquire.
Dude, I don't need to give the list. If we just had a better attitude
that's
as an
a good
airline,
start.
That would be nice.
Start.
Don't they say, like, if you just started with love first, like Peabody, if we loved everybody, then maybe flying would be a nice experience.
Yeah, the airlines could fake it until they make it with that. Just
we'll try to be more loving if they try to be more loving too.
Yeah.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Have you ever had an interaction with like a celebrity? That's always one of those cool moments you remember, right? Like, especially even if it's just as simple as
taking a photo.
Yeah, or even tweeting at them and then they acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I always feel like that's cool because you think of celebrities and it's like they're so important, they're so busy, they've got so much going on, and you're just a little old regular person, and they took the time out of their busy schedule to notice what you had to say, to notice that you were paying attention to them so much. Mm-hmm. And, they probably hear, I always think when I do have interviews or people that, where you run into celebrities and stuff, I always think I don't want to say the same thing that they've heard a million times. You always think of that.
You don't want to be another person saying that.
So that you stand out a little more.
Sure.
But they hear the same thing millions of times over. And if they're a nice celebrity, they still will be like, yeah, thanks. And actually take the time.
Do they treat it like it's the first time they heard it?
Yeah, right. Exactly. and that's always a big moment. But with God, it can feel like God's got so much going on. He's so busy. How could he take the time, to really pay attention to you the 99.9% of the time when there's something else going on? When you get the attention of a celebrity, that's that one little moment out of all the times where you've interacted with them. And with God, it's not like he's ignoring you. Right. It's not like God is too busy 99.9% of the time. And then that one little tiny moment, if you're lucky, God will be like, yeah, thanks. And God cares about everything you have to say. As much as God has got going on, all the stuff that he's juggling going on in the world, he cares about what's going on in your world, what is going on in your life specifically. So whenever you take the time to talk to Jesus and say, I'm going through this, here's how my day is going, whatever it may be, whatever is on your mind at the moment, Jesus is going to pay attention to that, and he's going to care about it, and he's going to go talk to you about it as well. Jesus is ready to go through life with you, and he's not off in the distance somewhere, and he's not only hearing bits and pieces of what you have to say. He's got it all, and he's ready to go through life with you. Every single thing you're experiencing, he will experience it with you and help you through it. And if you're ready for that, just reach out right now. Say, hey, God, I want you in my life. I want some help getting through life. I want to know that you care. Start talking to me, and he will.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Did you know the Transformers franchise is still going strong?
Well, is strong the right word, or didn't it take a break for a little bit outside of the Bumblebee movie?
It feels that it has.
I thought they wanted to give it a rest for a bit.
In our minds, it's taken a break for a while because what's the last one you've seen?
None.
No, you haven't seen a single Transformers movie?
No, I think I watched. Wasn't there like a animated Netflix show? Was there something with Transformers?
I don't know if it was new.
Because it was a really sad voice, and everybody was like, gosh, he's really sad. I think for Optimus Prime.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's the old Transformers cartoons.
No, it wasn't that.
Not that.
And it wasn't a movie, because that's a long amount of time.
I mean, Nikki, you could tell me anything was on Netflix. I would believe it. And I'm not going to take the time to go and check. So, sure, there was a Transformers cartoon series with a sad Optimus Prime voice. Yes, I believe you.
If anybody remembers, so you can tell me what it was, just text 8772 RadioU. Or is anybody still interested in the Transformers stuff? Like, they looked good.
Yeah.
War for Cybertron. Thank you,
That's
Jeff.
a thing? That was on Netflix?
Is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And so here... I don't even know how many Transformers movies there are. I don't know the last one I saw. I think it was one with Mark Wahlberg. But even saying one with Mark Wahlberg, that could mean there was a single Transformers movie that had Mark Wahlberg. Or I could be saying one of the many, and I don't even know. But they're making a new one.
They are.
And it is called, they just released the title. It will be called Rise of the Beasts.
They say that the Optimus Prime will be the main robot for
robot lead.
Robot lead. That's how they actually
Is that a category at the Oscars? He should be a shoo-in for a nomination.
I think it is. They said that it's supposed to be set in the 90s in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And that will be the next Transformers movie, Rise of the Beasts.
Following up, Bumblebee was the most recent Transformers movie, evidently, and I guess a lot of Michael Bay ones before that we may or may not, or I guess I may or may not have seen, and I don't even know.
So they said it's going to be pulling a lot from Beast Wars, which is a 90s computer-generated series.
Great choice.
That's what they're going with. So it'll be a series that served as a sequel to the original Transformers cartoon, the very, very first one.
Oh, and it's going to introduce live-action versions of the factions, the Maximals and the Predacons.
Maximals and Predacons.
I'm glad that they're including those. I was worried that they would leave them out.
And it'll still have Autobots and the Terracons.
Of course. Obviously, the Terracons.
You don't know it. We don't know.
No, we have no idea.
I guess.
We're probably not even pronouncing these right.
It doesn't matter. I don't think most of us remember.
There's a few loyal Transformers fans that are very upset.
So Transformers was announced, and I think that's Paramount that's doing their stuff. But if you're interested, it'll be set in the 90s in Brooklyn for Rise of the Beast for Transformers. And let me go down to the bottom where they normally say when it'll come out.
Right. They leave that to the end.
Rise of the Beast comes out sometime next summer.
Oh, that's coming up soon. Not too far away.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Not too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on Radio U.
We're talking baseball. Someone talking baseball.
I have seen a ton of stuff on, and I don't even follow baseball. So if I'm seeing all this sticky stuff, then you know it must be something.
And baseball is never in the news for good reasons, it seems. You know, like they have this guy, I follow baseball, Shohei Ohtani. Have you seen him? Have you?
Sure, I guess. Maybe.
No, you haven't. See, that's the point. He is a guy, he plays for the Angels. He pitches and hits and actually does both well.
Yeah.
Which is
normally a specialty is in one area.
You would either hit and play the field or you would pitch, and the pitchers all suck at hitting when they have to hit. But he does both great. Nobody's talking about him. All they're talking about is the sticky stuff. Because in the MLB, you know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
You're not playing the game.
And the MLB was experiencing an issue where earlier this season, the batting averages were all-time lows. People were striking out more than ever. And part of that they attributed to the pitchers getting an advantage by using this, I think they call it spider tack or something like that. Either way, I mean, they just have been referring to it as sticky stuff. Because they'll hide this stuff in their glove or wherever, and then it gives them a better grip on the ball, and it helps them get better spin on it, make it harder to track.
A few weeks ago, I watched one of the clips, and the guy totally used his hat. And you could see it. They kept showing it, and you're like, you're absolutely getting sticky stuff from underneath your hat.
Yep.
Because you're like, why would you touch there in that way and then touch the ball and then mush it around the ball?
Yep.
But I kind of thought when this first started to get more and more talked about for the sticky stuff, I thought, well, I bet you it's probably always been done. And maybe it's more it's not appreciated, but it's just there.
Yep.
So no one really goes after it. But it seems like now they're going after it.
That sounds about right. But of course, you know how it is. Like there's a line between you're spitting on the ball to get an advantage to you're using something else to where you're actually using these substances. Now, from how I understand, these were always illegal, or like to start the season, they were illegal, even though they've been used a lot. But I think the MLB, in part because hitting was down so much, they wanted to crack down on it. So in the middle of the season, they're like, now we're really going to start cracking down. And maybe that's fine to get more hitting involved. But the problem is we had a game, Nationals-Phillies last night, where the manager of the Phillies just kept asking the umpires to go check, does the pitcher have the sticky stuff?
Oh, to see. Oh, they said
and so they did it 3 times.
Oh, and then I guess everybody got mad like by the third time.
People, so the players are getting mad. People watching the game. If you have it in you to watch a whole baseball game, you're at the game, you're annoyed because it's just taken... Baseball games take long enough, you know? They're not, I love baseball, but it's not especially fast moving. The games take a long time and there's a lot of them. If you could speed it up, that'd be great. And instead,
they're doing this.
They're just stopping the game to check it was the same guy. Well, they checked over and over again.
They're basically saying, though, if you're watching baseball, be prepared for at least 2 checks every game.
Yeah.
That's like the new normal. But because they then checked a third time, that's when everybody really got mad because now you're getting out of the 2 okay number.
Yeah, and you're seeing the pitcher, his name is Max Scherzer for the Nationals. The third time, he just like starts throwing his hat. He undoes his belt. Like, where do you want to check? Why don't you just check everywhere? I'll just strip down.
Well, then they were basically saying blame the baseball commissioner.
Yeah.
That it's him, but... Again, 2 was like the okay to check for the sticky stuff, but they checked a third time.
Yeah.
And so people were upset.
Nobody likes the MLB commissioner, Rob Manfred. And,
they don't?
I think, commissioners have a hard job anyways, but he seems to be doing an especially bad job.
People really hate him?
Yeah, they really do.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.